Hello, I'm Monica Morrissey, owner of Intuitive Wellness and author of many books, Dimes from Heaven, More Dimes from Heaven, and Once Upon a Dime, all stories that soothe our heart and talk about signs of the afterlife. I am here with vlog number 22, so super excited tonight. Um, I started up my blog last week after taking care of myself for a long time. I'm back here. And last week, the vlog, I loved hearing stories about saying how just taking like one thing a day to help you start to declutter is super helpful and um, makes it a little bit smaller to manage. My kitty is here trying to get in on the action. And in that last blog, I asked to see if anybody had any ideas or suggestions for topics, and we did get one. So thank you, Chris. This is what he says. I would love to hear a vlog on getting the most out of being in nature, maybe an anatomy of a hike type vlog. What strategies do you use to get the most out of your time in the woods or just when you are outside? What do you try to tune into? What do you look for? Do you have any specific routines? Just the thought. With spring around the corner, a lot of us hibernate up here in winter, including Chris. Um, he is looking for more connections to being in nature and getting the most out of that. So, this is a great topic. So, first, I just want to preface that I'm not a doctor, I'm not anybody, I'm just here for your enjoyment and to share what I do and what helps me, and that maybe it can help you. So, um, anyway, what I'm hearing in my kitty's right here in this, comment or question is that what he's really searching for. Okay, okay, I'm gonna have to hold my cat. Okay, you want some attention. What a big baby. Okay, now he's gonna go. Um, is that he's trying to be more present and that he's looking for grounding. When we are craving that nature connection, it means that we're trying to ground ourselves and we're trying to be more into our body and be more present. Um, and you can kind of feel that. So, I happen to know his job. So I know that he spends a lot of time in his head. And that's where I used to spend most of my time. It was not really in this body. This body was to get me to be able to walk to places and do things and, work on my computer. But a lot of what I was doing was in my head. And so trying to settle down into our body is a challenge. And this is one of the ways to do it. So, when I go for walks in the woods, I don't, or I do, first of all, I don't bring my phone. So I'm, shutting off from the technology if possible. I have no destination. I'm just walking. I have no time frame. I'm not checking my steps. A lot of people, count their steps every day. And that's not what a walk for me is anymore. It's really like being curious and being like a 2 or 3 year old out in the woods and you're seeing things for the first time and you're just being observant. And so you're tuning in to all of your senses. So you're slowing down and you're taking that time to think, do I hear anything? Is there some wind rustling? Is there, a bird calling from someplace? I'm always trying to listen to what's going around me. Do I hear an airplane? Do I hear a crow? What is it that I am hearing? And then layering those sounds. So sometimes it's totally quiet, like the snow up here in the wintertime. When there's snow on the ground, it is so quiet and it's so peaceful to walk outside. Eventually now we're going to get running water, right? Because the snow where I live is melting. And so we're going to hear that. We're going to hear that when we slow down. So you're listening to the sounds. You're also looking at different things and you're looking at like the bark, if there's any plants or tracks, or you're just kind of being observant. And sometimes in nature, like you'll find, you know, interesting like ice um, formations. It's just fascinating to see. Can you find any shapes in there? Can you find any hearts, even in like the bark of a tree? Like really being observant from top to bottom, and you're really sometimes just stopping and taking in all of the things around you. The way that our brains work, especially as adults, we get really good at filtering. Now, the filtering, um, some people think about like, oh, I'm filtering what I say. Like, I'm not saying how I really feel. Like, I have to filter it because it might come out negative or something. What I'm talking about is that we filter everything around us. So right now, my brain is focused on this vlog, and I'm not thinking about all the other things in my office. Okay, so I've got some stones here next to my computer, some crystals, some different things. Um, they're on a selenite. I've got some papers here. I've got other things here on my desk. I'm just kind of letting those sit there, right? I'm filtering. I don't need to know about those right now. I have a lamp right here that I use at nighttime when I'm recording. There's just lots of different things that I'm not thinking about. Now, I want you to think about when you have a 2 or 3 year old in your room and they walk in and something is different, they will automatically go to whatever that is different. And they are like, yeah, they're so interested in it, right? So that's what we're trying to do is we're trying to kind of turn off that filter for a minute and take in everything that's around us. This is when we're out in the woods or in a field or outside somewhere. You start to like notice, like, oh, wow, there's a bunch of dandelions here. Wow, I didn't know that. Or, oh, look, there's some maple trees here, and then there's some ash trees over here. That's interesting, right? And so you're just kind of looking and observing. You're looking at the moss on the rocks. You're just kind of looking at everything. Um, and then the more that you notice, the more that you'll realize that everything out in nature is shape shifting and moving and growing and changing at their own rate and not like on a timeline like we have as adults or humans. Touch, if you're near stream and you're outside, you want to put your hands in like a little kid would do. That is a way of exploring our place. You could also just touch the moss and feel what that feels like. Um, it adds a layer of connection for you. I also do slow and deliberate breaths. You could do the fire breath before you walk out, and that helps you kind of sink into your body. And what that means is this is like a birthday candle right here in my hand, and you just blow down with your nose. And you just worry about the down, don't worry about the up. You're just pushing down, and like you're blowing out the candle. And then that will help you to kind of ground yourself and get into your body and then go for your walk. I also am filled with gratitude along my walks. And I think about all the things that I'm grateful for in my life. And sometimes I just kind of walk casually, slowly, step by step, heel to toe, and I say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as I'm as I'm repeating that phrase, all of a sudden visions and ideas come to my mind that I am thankful for. And so it just is a vibrational energy lifter because when we show gratitude, our whole body shifts inside. It makes us feel amazing. Um, Okay, uh, so I live in Vermont, and it's right now where the snow is melting, but we still have a lot on the ground, and it is hard to connect with the earth, right? When it's cold out, it's all mud outside. Even if the snow is melting, it's mud. And if I go out and I put my feet on the ground, my feet are going to be freezing and they're going to be dirty, right? And so there is this sense of like we can't get grounded, right? And so I'm trying to be grounded. So a couple of ideas is this is what's called a grounding mat. And let's see, that's wire. And they have grounding blankets that you can sleep with. There's grounding sheets that you can buy, all kinds of things. And so this is something that I would put under. This is a mat, okay, pretty long. And when you're sitting at your desk, you would want to put your bare feet on it, and it would be just like putting your bare feet out on the ground. Because Earth is a magnet, right? Like we all learned that in elementary school. And that magnetic energy is like kind of like I always think about that battery, and the battery in the phone when it's charging. Okay. We need this in order to charge us back up. And if we spend too much time in our head, we need it even more. And so these mats, they, and I got mine, I'm not getting paid by the company. It's Earthing Harmony is where I bought mine. And this plugs into, how like there's three prongs and the third prong is the grounding part of the outlet. That's where you would plug this in. So I recently upgraded to a blanket. The important part that I was reading about though is that it's important to have it's like bare skin. So you don't want to just, put it over your clothes or whatever. You want as much bare skin as possible to be on your grounding mat. So that's why I said if I was going to use this, I would put it under my desk and I'd put my feet on it, but my feet would have to have no shoes. So we spend a long time walking around on rubber. Now, in the olden days, or many, many years ago, people wore leather shoes and they didn't wear rubber shoes. So most of us are ungrounded partly because of our shoes. So I also have a pair of grounding shoes that I use especially when I'm giving Reiki. So when I'm giving Reiki or teaching Reiki, I need to be really grounded, especially because of mirror neurons. So if I'm grounded, then the person next to me will start to take on that energy and they will be more grounded. But if I'm ungrounded and I'm working in this business, then my client is going to mirror that and be ungrounded. And so the more grounded that I can be, the more grounded that they can be because they will take on some of that energy. You can look up more about mirror neurons, but they're fascinating. It's kind of like that, when somebody's angry and upset and they're really ramped up and all of a sudden you're around them and then all of a sudden you feel ramped up and you don't know why because it wasn't about you, it was about this other person. It's because you're taking on some of their energy, and that's called mirror neurons. Anyway, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you can get more grounded. I hope that you can go out for walks and just be really observant and take in all of your senses and just be in that space. Again, if you have any other topics, I would love some more topics. I did post a little thing in my Facebook group, which is called Dimes from Heaven. Look for the picture. There's two groups in the Facebook. One is just Dimes from Heaven and it has a picture of dimes. And the one is Dimes from Heaven and it has a picture of my most recent book, Once Upon a Dime. So look for that group. But under the last vlog post, I posted something about decluttering is also not just about the physical things. It's about the things that are taking up space in our heads. It's about, our email, and there's digital decluttering. There's so much more to decluttering than just the physical space. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Yeah. Thanks for listening.